Well, good day to everybody out there in the interwebs. Ladies, gentlemen, Zombie Fear. I haven't had a chance to put the word out there in the last few days. Been kind of busy. Just wanted to have a uninterrupted moment of your time, if I may. Whenever the discussion came up in the Mad Shed, we was having a discussion in Lackluster Friday, and you just kind of let it be known that certain facts do exist, and you either involve yourself with it or you don't involve yourself with it. It's up to your choice. And the discussion with the things that are going on inside the country and how it can be painful to certain organizations and individuals inside this country that foresee a certain ideological way of thinking, is to put it. But the idea is that my grandchildren deserve a sidewalk to play on, and not have to play in the middle of the street. And people have a place to enjoy without walking through, in the Wild West they would say, horse shit. That's what the sidewalks was on the porches and the fronts of the stores. You don't want people just camped out there, do you? So the focus is in the agendas of the ratifications of the people, and they speak. And I try to say it without explaining my thinking on that, and I apologize for some people. My point was that whether you believe anything or not, it's not for you to believe or not to believe. You have to make a choice on what you believe in. And that's me and people that we think American. What does it take to be an American? And we have to say, well, we should be able to stand our ground and have safety in our homes, not having to take shit off of anybody as far as our outside country neighbors. And we have to find a way to put that politely. We're gonna make it polite this first time. I'm gonna bring this up again. Venezuela. And then the conversation was it gonna be an invasion force? It was like, no, you don't understand it. So here's where I can explain it. If you have a drug lab, if you are associated with a drug lab, if you are associated with a gang or organization affiliated with a gang, then the message is going out to all of those people. You're poisoning our people on these streets. They're dying every day. We have people inside our major cities, and people say, oh, I say, look, it's deeper than what you think. Then my brother's in Chicago. See, I will include a link to my brothers in Chicago, my people in Chicago. We all live inside this country. Just because you live out there somewhere where you think, oh, You've just conveniently placed yourself in the middle of the fucking woods to avoid what the truth of the matter is. You cannot travel inside this country or in our center cities safely. And that goes back to that thou shalt not be impeded in thy travels inside our free country and our nation. And I know that's hard for some people to understand. Get your fucking ass off the fucking sidewalk. Stop trying to suck your own dick and get help. Help is on the way. The only way our streets are going to be safe is if we, the people, establish the safety under that, and we, the people, command the military forces inside this country. To have a conversation about the North Shore of Chicago. See, and you go back and you can hear the answers. You just refuse to hear them. And then I said, you know, I get it. About a week later, people come at me and they say, goddamn zombie. You know. I'm not that person. I don't want to say, hey, I'm trying to say I told you so. I'm not trying to tell you shit. You're either listening or you're not. You can go convince yourself of whatever you want to convince yourself of. I have grandchildren. Thank you. Shut your fucking pie hole. This is for the fucking freedom of our children and our future inside our country under our flag. You either like our fucking rules, you either like our fucking laws, or you fucking leave. And we will absolutely put you on a fucking plane and pay you to leave. Like I said, our family in Chicago, they're saying it. Make our fucking streets safe. There's instances where you have children on a ball field that have to lay down on the fucking ground because the gangsters is having a shootout at the OK Corral at the park. It's coming off the streets. It will come off the street. It will come inside your house, and it will eradicate all of this criminal mischief. You have the freedom of privacy. You can go inside your own home, in your own yard, and keep it out of public and out of view of public, and don't offend the fucking public because you don't understand. One thing leads to another. Whenever I went back in the videos way back and I discussed the line between our border and a couple of 100 miles out there. Well, see, and then I tried to explain something different. I don't mean to change the subject, but I tried to explain about France and who was at the table. Get yourself geographically, if you're trained, if you want, before you make a statement. The country of France has jurisdiction over certain islands off the coast of Venezuela. And they are on board right now in their own route to moving some of their ships into that region also. Whenever somebody comes into a room and they say, hey, you know, this is probably what's going to happen, and you got everybody, you could have 1,000 people saying, no, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Nope, I don't think so. No, I'm going to rule it on what I know. When I say we're going to seal that motherfucking door down on that fucking country they call Venezuela, it's going to be sealed. Need I say, anybody that keeps up with the conversations that we've previously had, I included the name of Marco Rubio. See. There's no sense in hiding anything, and I'm not going to be accused of saying I'm trying to not blow the fucking lid off of what's the plans are. It's just wake the fuck up. If you're inside this fucking country, you're taking our fucking jobs, you are fucking draining the blue collar workforce inside this fucking country. You need to fucking leave and go back to your own country. That's just simple. Get it right in your country. We already have. We had rules to begin with, and you broke our rules. What makes us strong as a nation, and it keeps our people off the streets, out of danger, money in their pocket, the American dream. See? My heartfelt emotions goes out to all of my brothers and sisters in Chicago. Their calls have been answered. Military establishment and military jurisdiction of the federal government will resign over the northern Navy base. Just like the discussion, the North Lake shore will be secure. Chicago. Whenever you start creating difficulties for people inside your own free society because it's an systemic problem, then you start just like going in a room, and if you want to go in a room and pick a fight with somebody, just go up in the room and pick the fight with the biggest motherfucker inside that fucking room. If you can whoop his ass, then it's your room. Shut the fuck up. Me and my people, we're Americans. We simply refuse. You guys, your fucking mind. We're the greatest nation on this world. And whenever we flex our fucking muscle, people get a little nervous, people get a little bit of propaganda, people get a little bit of this, people get a little bit of that. But that's not the truth. As an American, I don't give a fuck what you do behind the closed doors and curtains and fences behind your fucking property that you own. My kids don't want to ride their bicycles down the fucking sidewalk and have to fucking see it. With all respect. We got kids inside the city of Chicago that are shooting kids with guns. Whose are these kids? Whose kids are going around shooting our fucking cars, shooting our fucking people? What's happening? Why are they shooting anybody at fucking all? Why are you shooting each other? That's not supposed to be allowed inside this country, and I'm going to remind people that it is against the law. You can move along as free as you want to be inside this country. No Gestapos, no boundaries, no checkpoints, no nothing. Freely. Inside our American soil. Anywhere. Any city. Anytime. You get certain sides of the stories, you get people saying, hey, they'll pull you over and stop you inside that city if you're out there on this street at a certain time of night. they're not out there to protect you. They're protecting the public, sidewalks, the streets, anything else. Their job's just simply to observe, and if there's a violation of the law, they are to enforce it, period. It has nothing to do with the time of day, the color of your skin, or any of that. If they see crime, they enforce the law. That's why they're there. That's why we pay our military. That's why we pay our National Guard members with benefits, and we take care of our own, because they keep a watch on the rest of us while we sleep at night. See? So the redcoats don't come in and get you. But I'll keep it short. I'll keep it simple. You know. That's a good word to remember. KISS. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't go thinking with your dip without your dipstick or something, you know, whatever you think. But whenever you go to the roots of whatever grows inside your garden that's killing the rest of your plants, you dig it up, roots and all. You don't spray it. It's not a weed on your grass. It's in your garden. You are what you eat. Remember that. So, you ain't got a garden, you're going to eat what the rest of everybody else eats that comes out the grocery store. That's just who you are. I will not live inside this country in fear for my life or my safety or my personal property inside this country. I just refuse to live in fear like that. You can barricade your doors. You can dig your fucking shit deeper in the ground, whatever you want to do. But I draw the line. And this country is drawing the line. You don't have kids, you don't have grandkids, and you don't have a dog in it, shut the fuck up. Go sit in a room and hang out with your friends. Just don't talk about it. There's no real understanding in people that doesn't have kids, they don't have grandkids, they accept their single lifestyles. That's simply who they are. Nothing against that. The safety and protection of our great nation. Not our great state, not our great county, not our great parish. Our nation. See? We have people calling themselves governors and mayors of cities that simply tie back their hands of their law enforcement in their own design. I mean, the fancy facilities, the fancy offices, the fancy. That takes up a lot of space when it comes to paying good men to be out there watching our back. See? And to have the mayor of Chicago stand up and say that even it was on MSNBC, the interview was that he was asked a question, so you have something against having up to 5,000 more law enforcement agents on the streets of Chicago to get the crime out of your city. And he simply refused to answer the question. Simply. He spent $700 million of the taxpayers' money in his federal spendings for the people of Chicago. It went to an illegal alien instead. He blew the taxpayers' money on nearly $1 billion of the Chicago taxpayers' money. He just kind of blew it. Give it to another fucking country, basically, instead of giving it to his people and putting it back into his city. And it's to his security of his departments of law enforcement and everything below that. It's treason. It's a treasonous act. Whenever you find it appropriate to take our taxpayers' money and our funding that goes into our security and our government office, and you put somebody from a foreign country in front of a citizen of this country, you didn't give the citizens of your county or your borough a fair handshake on that. You just simply gave it to somebody who's not even supposed to be here. Thousands of them. I would say that's quartering soldiers act. And I would also say that that's quartering soldiers or people of a foreign nation inside our free nation without permission. So, I mentioned this the other morning in a chat with a rescue down there in Texas, and I said, well, you know, there's no more Section 8 HUD allowance inside this country. Which means that individuals that are being housed under Section 8 that have family members there also that are not of legal status inside this country, then you can be and will be evicted if and or arrested for having a fugitive of a foreign person inside your fucking governmentally funded housing. You can't court them. Public subsidies, food stamp, Medicaid gets canceled completely. We've spent trillions of dollars on people that are not supposed to be inside this country and simply refuse to spend it on the ones that are here, that are American citizens. Nobody's going to solve this problem of drug addict addiction, alcoholism, but there should be a place for that, not on our streets and sidewalks, and in our city parks, and in our neighborhoods that shoot our children. So, you gotta put your big boy panties on, or stay the fuck out of the way. That's what you do. You know, try not saying anything. And what I don't understand is, I see these people that's protesting out in front of our ICE agencies and our immigration offices. Where's the Americans at? I see the police officers, and I see the National Guard, and I see members of law enforcement in all branches there. But where's the people? Where is the people, the bosses? Where's the bosses at? They're just standing there, they're just saying, hey, you can't come in, you can't come in, you can't come in. That's okay. They get insulted, they get spit on, they get assaulted to go out there and deal with these people while we have sheriffs in our free country that refuse to do their job. This is a disturbance. Whenever you create a disturbance for free people inside this country, then in the end you're breaking our laws and our rules. Nobody wants to hear you down there all night. They got to sleep. The noise ordinances and stuff inside these cities, only because these people out here that's making all this noise and giving our law enforcement agencies a hard time, they're just pulling that bully cord, you know. But we all know what to do with a bully. It's just that I don't know, you know. When people are just simply doing their job, and that's enforcing the laws that are already presently on the book. Whenever you get assaulted for enforcing the rules and laws that are already on the book, based on what? Somebody who's not supposed to be inside this country. They need to leave. And people out there insisting that they should stay. Hold on a minute. You're not at a party down there at the fucking skating rink, and you invite your friends over to go skating, and you're all having such a good time out there skating around and having a good time. But whenever the skating rink closes, your friends has got to go back home, because they're not coming to my house, my yard, they're not coming to my job, they're not coming to my streets, they're not coming anywhere. It's time for them to go home. Party's over. You don't have to go home. That's our rule. You don't have to go home. You can go anywhere you want to, but you can't stay here in America. We're even going to pay you to leave. See? It's just going to insist. It's going to insist. It's going to insist. That's just simply the way it is. If everybody would just do their job, this problem would be over with. But you can't get people that control cities like Chicago and New York and Los Angeles and everything else. You're not going to just be able to just say, hey, you got to go along with this, because this is part of us, the Americans. Not your California fucking attitude, Americans. Same flag, United States of America. We have military bases, we have offices and law enforcement government offices all over that whole entire state. America. It's time for your friends to go home. I'm not going to keep restocking the refrigerator. I'm not going to keep putting in these extra hours. I'm not going to keep doing all these other things to try to live inside our free country and hand it over to somebody who's not even supposed to be here. I'm sorry. No bad intentions. It's time you left peacefully and go back to your country of origin. Don't just come climb over our fence, lie to our officials, and get some way to stay here until somebody comes along and says, hey, you know, it's time for you to go home. Our public schools, they're free, but there is school hours also. After the school's closed, school's out on this. Go home. It's going to be arguments. It's going to be shit hitting the fan in every direction on some of it, but it's kind of like that's what happens when you have this, in this previous video, this screaming, kicking, sniveling, spoiled brat. You can't even hear what the checkout lady's trying to say at the register because this kid just keeps screaming and yelling. And the parent simply refuses to remove that child from that facility out of respect for all the other shoppers. So, I mean, got to take it with a grain of salt, like it's been said. But we call it a soft hand. We get the little boats. Go tell your friends. Tell your fucking fearless fucking blabbermouth bullshitter of Venezuela. He's gonna fuck around. And he just found out. We will bitch slap your ass into some kind of fucking third world fucking country that's unheard of by most individuals. You and all those motherfuckers that call yourself businessmen. We will take your fucking oil, just like I said. And we're gonna take your fucking oil. We're gonna drain your fucking country dry of money. Nothing in, nothing out. That's just how it is. Don't fuck around, because you already done found out. And Canada, I tried to say this to somebody and they just looked at me like I had two heads. Alberta. Ring a bell? The fact of the matter is the four provinces to the west of Alberta, they will gain their independence from Canada. I know that's hard to believe, but look at what goes on with those people in those provinces. I got family there. All over those provinces. The old lady, we respect her, that's fine. But we're supposed to be the chiefs and the braves. We got to protect our interest, our old ladies. Whenever 30, 40, 50%, 60%, 70% of your taxation goes to Ottawa and nowhere else. It's the payrolls, it's the maintenance on the big castles, it's all of that stuff going on. Off the people of Canada's back. Same things are going on in Venezuela. The Venezuelans, they're all for it. Let me give you this figure. Only about 27.5% of the population of Venezuela is on board with Maduro, if you didn't know that. 2.8 million people had a sworn oath to fucking fight with this regime. Let me give you this. There's nearly 29 million people in the country of Venezuela alone. See, you only got 2.8 million of those people that's willing to go along with this person that's destroying the freedom of his own people. They don't get paid for the oil that comes out of their ground. They don't get paid for nothing. They gotta pay fucking astronomical, exorbitant amounts of money just to fucking eat a loaf of bread. Well, their economy is being completely drained fucking out from under them. Their water, their resources, their electricity, their power, their everything. Their food. Nobody in Venezuela can afford a normal fucking meal based on their fucking present leader. It's not their leader, but maybe 27% of the population of Venezuela even supports him. That's way less than half of the population of the minority. So, anyhow, didn't want to turn this into a rant. There's really no reason to be upset. People could possibly see things on public news media outlets or something that could possibly affect them some kind of way emotionally and provoke them into certain things and thinking when it's completely false. You know, it's just false. But just figured I'd come on here for a minute, share this out to you folks, and I hear any kind of updates on anything, I'll just blab it out there to you. You know, that's just what I'll do. But from now to then, I'm gonna say, Zombie Force is out.